Right, so it is late on Friday and I am just getting into Sunderland after a delightful 3.5-hour train journey. Looking forward to meeting Peter tomorrow. He's coming to collect me around about 8:30 and we're going to have a day in the town of Sunderland and explore, so very excited and looking forward to seeing a bit of Sunderland. Here we are, Sunderland city centre. It is a little bit colder than London and it is quiet. There is no one around. Feeling cold and a little bit lost. A couple of rapid fire observations. Not quite sure if this is part of the programme, but Sunderland is posh. It's got some posh shops. People delightful, very friendly. And the third observation is self-service checkouts. Haven't quite made it here yet to Boots, but we'll get there. And yeah, go Sunderland. Yeah, and last but not least, that it is easy to be friends with people who have with very different backgrounds to yourself. So some good room for meaty discussion today, and looking forward to getting stuck in to some of that with Peter. Over. Ooh, just had a first hour with Peter, and he's just been showing me around North East Sports and talking about some of the work he's been doing and trying to do, and some of the challenges they're having, mostly around funding and just not having enough resources to do the work that needs to be done. And he's, you know, committed his last 10 years to supporting, empowering and enabling some of the young people in Sunderland, and it's just incredibly inspiring and also difficult when you hear some of the challenges and sacrifices he's had to make to do that work. And I guess something which I'm sitting with and trying to embrace, you see people like Peter just doing this incredibly committed and important work, good work, and all I want is just to feel good and feel inspired about the work he's doing. And there's a tendency when you see this and you meet someone like Peter up close and personal, is it comes back to you and the fact that I'm proud of the work I'm doing professionally, but I'm not proud of my role in the community, and so it comes back to making me actually feel a little bit got a fly. Ooh, making me feel a little bit shameful, embarrassed, insecure about my role in my community. And I think, you know, part of the day and the Roots program for me is sitting with that uncomfort and challenging myself to embrace that. And maybe it's important to feel a bit of shame and use that as a platform to do more. So yeah, it's just an interesting observation. I was thinking about how when you see someone doing good work, it doesn't always mean you can just be happy for their good work. A lot of the time the ego takes over and it comes back to you and the work you are doing. So that's how we're feeling, and we're just about to go and watch the under-11s play a friendly game and get stuck in. Everyone is significantly better than football than I am. Driving around Sunderland, just had a little bit of an incident, which was always fun. Peter kept his calm. Yeah, Peter just showed me where he grew up and his old school, and yeah, we've been reflecting on mostly on the people who have the power to make funding decisions and spending decisions are not the same people who have proximity to the problems and an understanding of the problems, and how much we're all just reinventing the wheel and wanting to set up new things, new charities, new big fancy sexy projects, because it looks good and it sounds exciting without supporting the existing work that's happening in communities and where the existing relationships are. Yeah, and I think thing for me of the morning I'm taking away so far was just Peter talking about everyone in Sunderland just not feeling heard, and in some ways when you don't feel heard, you lose the capacity to listen, and when everyone's not feeling heard, it means no one can actually listen. So yeah, there are a couple of morning reflections so far. I'm just doing our best now to make sure the van doesn't get knocked up again. And yeah, a lot of passion and frustration. Again, about just not feeling heard and not feeling valued, and London telling people what to do versus actually understanding and listening. And again, the reoccurring theme is just people with the power, people with the money, having no fucking clue of the issues on the ground. And but you know, not just a London issue, also other people in Sunderland just being extremely narrow-minded, and so, and in some ways not always helping themselves, but you know, a real motivation from their perspective. How can they serve Sunderland residents, and how can they put Sunderland on the map, in a real sense that Sunderland's getting a disservice. And people think everyone here are idiots, and obviously that's not the case. And yeah, so anyway, just interesting to listen and try and learn. But coming away from that conversation not feeling particularly hopeful, just hearing how frustrated and challenging and unheard they feel, and I'm not quite sure what it would take to turn that around and break through that. So just rushing to the train, heading back down to London. In hindsight, really should have stayed for the Saturday night. Looks like things are going to get lively in Sunderland. But yeah, what have I got to say about Sunderland? And more importantly, Peter, been just so generous with and really thoughtful with showing me around town, introducing me to so many friendly people, and also, you know, for considering we haven't known each other long, just engaging in thoughtful and interesting discussions about divides and about Brexit and about all things under the sun. And so it's rare to have those discussions even with close friends, let alone people you've barely known. So that's just been that was the expectation, but also just really delivered on that front. And you know, all the conversations we've had and I've had have been very much from a place of understanding the other and respecting the other's perspective and point of view. And there really is like no binary right or wrong to some of this. And so, you know, a lot of the conversation here around Brexit was really around people not feeling valued and not feeling heard, but also just what is the point of Europe? Just back in London after another delightful 3.5 hour train from Sunderland. Last video of part 1 of Routes Exchange. Just feeling a little bit tired, but mostly, yeah, just grateful. It's not often you get to it's not often you meet someone like Peter, just such a kind, generous, inspiring individual. And so yeah, just feeling grateful and looking forward to showing him a little bit around North London when he comes down next weekend. Over and out.